What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today we are going over the Grandmaster Nightfall for the Devil's Lair. Now it is double loot this week, as well as double rank for Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard playlists. So definitely get those rank up while you can, especially since you know we have to get the ornament for the seasonal ritual weapon, so we can get that bright dust at the end of the season. Now without further ado, let's jump into it. Now, once you first spawn in, you definitely just want to sparrow pass everything. If you can't sparrow pass everything and you're a little worried about that, just stick to the left. From there, you could just sneak on by. Now, I am going to leave a dim link below of two builds that I am using. We are using the Blade Fury with the Strand build with Quicksilver Storm. You can use Avion Leap or you can use Armatarium. For this particular run, I decided to use Armatarium. That way I could have double grenades. Now it works very well. All we're pretty much doing is suspending everything. That's all you have to do. Of course, for us to be able to take advantage of these grenades and suspend everything, we have to use a shackle grenade, and that essentially just suspends targets. It works very well with every type of champion. You don't really need to stun anything. Granted, when you do stun or disrupt champions, it does allow you to do more damage, but I digress. It pretty much immobilizes everything, and you don't have to worry about any enemies coming after you whatsoever. And for our fragments, the two main ones that you're going to need are Threat of Warding. Picking up an Orb of Power grants Woven Mail. Basically keeps you alive a little bit longer. It allows you to take less damage, essentially. And then Threat of Generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. Now, as far as the other fragments go, you can pretty much use whatever you like. But these two are definitely important, especially if you plan on using either of the builds that I posted in the link below, whether that be the Avion Leap or the Armatarium build. And of course, you want to have your grenades as much as possible if you do decide to use the double grenade method over the barricade. But they both work very well with each other. Now, once you make it over to this room, you definitely want to stick to the right and take out each champion one by one. I don't recommend going in balls to the wall and trying to take out all the enemies that you see towards the left side of this corridor. You definitely want to approach as a team and take them all out one by one. Now, once you're able to get in there just a little bit, you are able to actually suspend the targets, and that does allow some easier cleanup for your teammates. Now, I don't want to make this video too long, so I am skipping around a bit, but after you kill all of the initial enemies in this area, you are going to pull out your ghost and you are going to scan this little droid looking thing, and then you're going to head to the left where my two teammates are, and you're pretty much just going to stay in this little hole. If you stay in this hole, you'll be able to kill everything in this room, and they will rush you to an extent, but as long as we have our suspend, we will be able to stop them, so to speak. Now, there's so many other builds that you could use to actually make it through with this Nightfall. We have a lot of different options. I just decided to use Strand just because of the suspending capabilities, and suspend really works very well for every type of champion. So it's not really limited to one thing, and it allows me to play with all different playstyles. And of course, I am using Quicksilver Storm because of the Strand effects, and it is the best 720 in the game currently, in my opinion. Now, as long as you stay in this hole, the first security measure isn't really that bad. You pretty much just sit over here, and that's pretty much the straightforward niche of this whole encounter, is just staying in this little hole. I did get a little bit crazy. Later on, I ended up popping my super, and I did die to an extent, but my teammates just stayed over here in the corner, and they were able to get this whole area locked down, no problems at all. And it's really not that difficult once you find out where you actually need to go. We did not use any wells or anything like that. Now, during each security measure, as you start to kill off a lot of the ads, there will be some lingering in the background per round. So you have, 3 rounds that you have to go for to defend your ghost, and you will have to spread out and actually kill a couple of them to start the next sequence. But other than that, as long as you stay in this hole for the main group of ads, as you see in the background gameplay, you'll be perfectly fine, and you'll be able to beat this room no problems at all. Now, once you complete those security measures and you beat the first part of this Nightfall, you will be met with one overload around the corner, and then from there you will actually go to one of the easiest parts of this Nightfall, in my opinion. And all you have to pretty much do is just stick to the left. Right here, I'm going to throw a shackle grenade, go ahead and suspend those targets, and then take care of this barrier champion. And then from there, for me, I like to work the left side of this field. The right side will have more ads. I feel like I try to pin off and kill as many of the ads to the left before I actually start taking on the right, just to give them to split up Now, one tip that I recommend doing when you are playing with the Titan, you definitely want to cast your barricade at an angle. If you cast it at an angle, you are able to actually still get the suspend effect, and then you're able to allow your teammates and yourself to actually peek shoot behind that barricade, and then it still gives you the cover. So that is one little tip that I like to do, is try to angle my barricade. Now, once we kill all the adds in this first little area, we are going to dip off to the left. Make sure you collect your orbs of power. If you're not collecting your orbs of power, you are hurting yourself, because it does grant you armor charge, and it does give you additional benefits if you have those applicable on your armor mods. And like I said, I will have a dim link down below for 2 builds that relate to the Quicksilver Storm and the Strand subclass. But like I said, we are going to cater off to the left, and the first and foremost, the big target that I'm going to be taking care of is the Brig. You definitely want to knock him out, and he's by himself, so you can see that we're able to take him out pretty quickly, and we'll just move in unison through this whole area during this encounter. And a lot of people say that this is one of the hardest sections of this strike, and I really don't feel like it is. I find this strike to be probably my favorite strike in the whole game, and I absolutely love it. That's why I play this one more, and I've noticed lately that Bungie has been doing double loot on this strike pretty regularly. Through all of the past seasons we've been doing this, double loot has fallen on this strike quite a few times already. So I really do love this strike. You're able to get high scores even in regular difficulties like Hero, Legend, even Master. You're able to get some pretty good scores, and it's a lot of fun to play this strike. There's a lot of adds, and it just feels nostalgic, you know. Now, once we clear out most of the enemies on the left side, I like to actually throw a shackle grenade right there in the middle, and then what we're going to do is sneak back around the back and go towards the right end of this strike. You definitely want to go all the way to the back and just go around. It's easier that way, especially since I'm not using any long distance weapons. I'm not using a scout rifle or anything like that, so I don't have the range that my teammates have, so I have to play a little bit closer and a little bit more aggressive with this build. So for me, at this point, I like to sneak around to the right, because I know I'm not going to win this battle with these long range engagements, especially since I'm using a trace rifle and an auto rifle, and pretty much me and my team, we see that we're not going to make it. We need to go to the right side of this map. Now, if you do have a well-rolled hung jury or Randy's throwing knife, both of those weapons have decent range, and they come with kinetic trimmers. You are able to do a lot more AoE damage on those targets when you have those weapons. Plus 2, you get way more range compared to what I have. Now, at this point, I did decide to use my super in the middle of the map, and we are going to sneak over to the right, go inside this little compartment, this little hole area, and you can do some significant damage to the rest of the enemies that's up here. And they don't really push you in this hole. You will have to watch out for the walker though, because he will shoot any cannons in here, and you will be able to see the red laser. Now, once you disrupt the enemies in that main area with the walker, it is easy cleanup for the rest of your teammates, and then you're pretty much good to go as far as destroying the walker and being able to progress to the next section of this strike. Now, right after you kill this walker, you will have one overload champion that will spawn in, and he is easy to defeat. All you gotta do is suspend him and then just go to town on him. And after you kill this overload champion, you will make your way to the next and final encounter of this strike, and you will have 2 overload champions to take care of. I recommend just hiding in this doorway and taking them out one by one. You don't want the overload champions to sneak behind you, otherwise that could spell trouble for you and your whole team, and it will send you back to orbit very quickly. Remember that tip I gave you guys earlier in the beginning? Just angle your barricade to the right or to the left, depending on where you are firing. This will allow you to efficiently peek in and out of cover, as well as you and your teammates being able to still fire and engage upon your enemy. Now, from there, you will be facing Sepix Prime, and all you have to do is pretty much just go into the room and just take cover and fire upon Sepix Prime. I mean, it's pretty much straightforward from there. It's easy. No enemies come into this room, hardly. You might get a straggler here or there, but other than that, it is very easy to do this strike, and I definitely recommend that anybody grind for this. If you cannot complete this Grandmaster, you know what I'm saying, you can hit me up. I will make sure to get some runs in with you so you can get this double loot. It's very easy to do. You can get 2 to 6 of those adept ciphers Buzzard is dropping. You can get multiple rolls of Buzzard as well as materials and other exotics as well. This is a fantastic strike, and it is also one of my favorite strikes in this game, and I highly recommend that during this double loot week that you grind for it. Now, unfortunately, it did take us roughly 20 minutes or so. I think my quickest run was about 18 minutes, and it really just depends on who you're playing with. Of course, I am using all LFG, so I don't have a specific team for this, but it is very easy to complete. You should be able to complete multiple runs, and like I said, you can probably get it down to sub 15 minutes if you're really pushing it. Unfortunately, like I said, I was using a lot of rapid fire style weapons like Quicksilver. I was using a trace rifle, and then I'm using retrofit. I don't really have that long range capability, so I have to play a little bit more aggressively, and that did hurt me in the walker section of this strike. But once you make it to the boss room, all of these weapons work very well, and you're pretty much just going to take out Sepix Prime, and you are just going to sit in that room. Double loot will rain on you, and like I said, we are getting double reputation gains across the board for Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard playlists because of Bungie Day. That's pretty much the celebration this year, and that will last until July 11th. So definitely get to grinding on all of this stuff, especially this strike. You don't want to miss it. You definitely want to get those exotics, Ascendant Shards, the Adept Ciphers, as well as a God Roll Buzzard. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I will see you guys in the next video. I will have another build video coming out, and as a reminder, I will have a dim link down below for both of the builds that I use for this Grandmaster. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next video.